Good morning, Tennessee Valley. Glad to see you this morning, this beautiful yet cold Friday morning. We have a great show for you today, some wonderful guests. With us today, first thing, is Dana Teasley of Local Strategies. Dana, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. And
Good
you?
to have you today.
Thank you.
Tell us, Dana, a little bit about yourself, about your business, what you can do, because I think it's very important for the community to know what services you offer. I think there's a big need for it, yet people don't know about you. They won't be able to call and say, hey, you know what, come help us out. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Well, thank you, James. I own Local Strategies, and what we do is we do economic and community development assistance. We help local governments and nonprofit organizations with things such as project management, program development. We can do educational workshops, community outreach programs, community engagement. I've helped organizations with strategic planning, and then I also assist with grant research and grant writing.
Okay. And what's one of the I guess the services that people come to you the most about?
A lot of people come asking about grants.
I mean,
grants are typically one of those topics that everybody gets, in their mind, free money, and they want to know how, they can receive some of the free money.
But you and I discussed that. I mean, there are grants out there. There's money for that. I mean, there's a lot of it out there. But it comes down to what? I mean,
basically, you find your grants are mainly for government type organizations, government agencies, nonprofit organizations. Rarely is there, any type of grant money for individuals. A lot of time when people, think of grants, they think of a grant to go back to school.
right.
That is one type of grant to an individual. Another type of grant to an individual might be a grant for, like, say, a down payment on a house. There is grant money for that. Now, those aren't the types of grants that we do. We do grants that are meant more for projects, quality of life initiatives within a community. A lot of your grant funds are specifically for the purpose of infrastructure and improving the quality of life in your community. But there are other things to help, like with arts and historic preservation, things along those lines.
But that's where you come into play. I mean, people may get out there and start looking at this, and it's overwhelming. But you've been doing this for a long time. You're deep in the middle of all this, and you know the verbiage. You know what the ins and outs of it. So that's where someone needs to call you, correct? And you sit down, and that's the service you offer. You do the grant writing, research it.
Right.
Because, I mean, what's a process something like that would take? If someone was to pick up the phone, call you today, what's the sort of process would they expect to have to go through to find out? I mean, even eligibility.
First off, I would have to sit down and talk with them to find out exactly what their funding needs are, what kind of program, what type of project that they are, wanting to take on. From there, then I would be able to go do the research to see what is available. Of course, grants are our government's way of returning our tax dollars back to us. So it's going to have to be a project that is seen as a betterment to society and the quality of life. We've in a lot of situations, of course, organizations don't realize that grants also come. You have to match grant dollars, even though this is free assistance money for specific purposes. Most grants, especially now, they want to see a dollar for dollar match.
Right. And that comes in fundraising. I mean, several different ways you could match that.
Well, an organization, of course, I always recommend to organizations that they, retain a portion of their membership funds every year and a portion of their fundraising money to match grants.
Right. What sort of grants do you find out there? I mean, what sort are out there? I mean, someone is listening today and they're seeking, thinking, what could I find? What kind of grants could I? What's some of the types of grants that you see right now going on?
of course, like I said, a lot of your grants are specifically meant for infrastructure improvements, water, sewer, telecommunications, things along those lines. As far as quality of life projects, parks and recreation grants, art grants, history grants, especially, if it's preservation type grants in history, history collections. Those are just some of the few that.
Now, what other services? I mean, on top of the grants, the research and writing, you do offer other services. I mean, what's some of the other services that you do offer?
Well, we, like I said, we'll do, if an organization is needing to do a community outreach, needing to do a community engagement program, we can do that. I've set up educational workshops, again, strategic planning. Is another thing that I've assisted, especially nonprofit organizations with.
Okay.
I have helped set up nonprofit organizations.
And it's not that it was ever easy, but it's not getting any easier.
It's getting tougher,
right.
and a lot of that is because everything is really being examined right now.
Right. But you can take them from step one to all the way to completion by doing that. And you mentioned something about being, I think you said executive director of projects.
A lot of the organizations that I work with and a lot of the committees that I work with are made up of volunteers.
Okay.
They do not have paid staff that can devote time to doing grant research and project management. So a lot of the groups that I focus on are those that have very little or limited, or limited with staff.
Okay. Now, how is somebody, if they wanted to call you or get a hold of you, what's your information that they can reach you at?
Okay, the best way to get in touch with me would be to call the local strategies number is area code 423-715-7272.
Okay. And you also have a website?
Yes, It is currently having some work done to it, but I do have a website, localstrategies.net.
Okay.
And
your location where you're located
and
at.
I am located inside the Cleveland Bradley Business Incubator.
Okay, and that's 3505 Atkinson
Drive,
right.
Suite 168.
Okay. But so people, if you're looking for it, and government entity, nonprofit, even some for-profits. I mean, there are some out there for that grant writing, grant research, project development type, local strategies. I mean, you cover a lot of ground.
Well, thank you.
And if you do have someone, you have that, you want them to call you. Give Dana a call. Get in touch with her. You find out she likes to work on your project. She stays on it until it gets done, until she sees it through. You've got to call her and find out more about it. There's probably a lot of stuff people are missing. Don't know they're missing it because they don't know what's out there. I mean, a lot of people don't know the grant money's there and what it's for and how to get it. You hear, like you said, you earlier you said you say grants. A lot of times people think student money or housing money, but they don't realize there's stuff out there to do projects.
There's sometimes not a really good explanation that comes along with grants.
Well, you and I were doing the research. We were talking about them a few weeks ago, and we were talking about film. About like arts and humanities. Like preserving the past, the history, and different ones that because we do filming and production and everything. And you and I were looking at some different grants for that. If we were qualified and eligible and different ones. But so there's a lot of it, and we saw some others that had I think green. Dealing with green, doing something green about the community, outreach with the community.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the federal government has actually started releasing some green dollars again. So
not many of us see the green on the dollar.
The election year, it kind of stalled a lot of those processes, but now that we're getting back in the swing of things, they're starting to release some of those dollars again. So
that's good. I think it's good for a lot of things because when we looked at the different grants and different projects that were available was allotted to help with the community, to do outreach and better, society and community around you and everything. But and I think it's a plus because there's a lot of times that money probably goes unnoticed, unused, and so it gets bypassed. But I think with you out there and you saying, you know what, there's money here, let's do this project. Here's how you do it.
If you have an idea and need somebody to research it, give me a call.
Yeah, because you will research it. And folks, I'm telling you, once again, Dana, we only got a couple minutes left. Tell us your information, where you're at, your phone number, all that. So people, I'm telling you, call Dana, go to see her, get this stuff going.
Okay, I'm located inside the Cleveland Bradley Business Incubator. I'm in Suite 168. And the best way to contact me would be to call area code 423-715-7272.
Okay. Well, Dana, I appreciate you being here this morning. There's a lot of great information there that people don't know that they're missing. And, you help them out, get them out there and get going. Folks, we're going to be back here in a moment. We have our next guest, and he's got a lot of great information also. And we've brought him out of retirement the past 2 weeks to talk to him. But don't go away. We'll be back here in a moment, and we'll talk to our next guest.
Visit Tennessee Liquidators and save up to 60% off retail prices. Tennessee Liquidators carries closeout and shelf pulls. All items are brand new. Electronics, everything from big screen TVs to notebooks, new toys, new bicycles, baby merchandise like high chairs, car seats, and strollers, household items like coffee makers, blenders, microwaves, vacuum cleaners, irons, and mini refrigerators. Tennessee Liquidators also carries a selection of furniture, including dinettes and patio furniture. You won't believe all the items to choose from under one roof with such low prices. Clothing starting at $1. Winter coats and boots, health and beauty items, makeup, hair color, shampoos, as well as cleaning supplies and detergents. Tennessee Liquidators, 154 Buchanan Road, 479-3912. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here. Doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time. Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back, folks. We're here with our next guest. Actually, two guests still. Hurley Buff. Glad to have you,
James.
Good morning.
I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here, and Dana for staying on. Hurley is the executive director of the Cleveland Bradley Business Incubator here at the state, I guess, the campus of community college here, Cleveland State.
At the campus. We've got one on both sides. So we're bookends.
Yeah, that's why I feel like. Hurley, you always have some important stuff to talk about because your position there at the incubator and the stuff that you do, and there's a lot of influence that you have with what goes on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the business incubator, our mission, I guess you'd say in life, is purely and simply to help small business. And of course, you two are good examples of that. Hello, Dinah. The business incubator has helped over 100 new businesses starting out over its lifespan. And we've been there now going on 13 years. So the number of jobs that we've created in that time rivals a small manufacturing plant coming to town. I mean, I say we, I like to think that we played a small part in developing these small businesses, but they have those small businesses, between the graduates and the people who are in residence right now, have created over 400 jobs.
That's a lot.
And it is a lot. And, that's equal to having a small manufacturing plant move into town, what we used to call the smokestack industry.
Right.
Whirlpool, when they came to town, they don't employ a whole lot more people than that. So you could say that in a small and incremental way, we're bringing industry or bringing that job growth into Cleveland and Bradley County. And Cleveland and Bradley County, really, we're all very fortunate to live here because all you have to do is look around us at communities that are struggling.
Right.
And really having a hard time reaching out to find new business to come into their location. Cleveland's a very thriving, very vital community, Cleveland and Bradley County. So we're lucky to live here, but I feel like that, the incubator plays a small part in that, just like our Chamber of Commerce and Cleveland State Community College.
Because when you say that with the incubator, you're not just talking about one or two businesses. There's quite a few.
No. Actually, we have room to where that we could incubate as many as 41 small businesses at one time.
Right.
Now, some of these businesses have, of course, been there a couple of years already. They've grown, and they're taking up more than one spot at the moment. And when they graduate out, of course, that leaves those spots available for new businesses to come in. So we never really know how many businesses we're going to be tending to at one time, but there could be as many as 41 different businesses under the two roofs.
And that's services ranging from, family counseling all the way up to
all different kinds of
services. I mean, there's everything in there.
Services like yours, and services like Dana here. Dana, she has helped the incubator actually and the incubator tenants by getting several grants for us. One of those grants was so that we could build a break room for our tenants because, let's face it, a lot of business deals are made around the coffee maker, around the water cooler. A lot of information, a lot of networking is exchanged. So she was able to find us some grant dollars to where that we could put in a small break area for the tenants. And she was also able to find grant dollars for us to expand the services that we provide in our conference room. Now, our conference room is something that we provide for the tenants free of charge. It's there for them to use any time that they need it. But until recently, we didn't have true video conferencing capabilities.
Right.
Didn't have a new laptop in there or a widescreen like your new widescreen here in front of the cameras. So she made all those things possible. And that's the kind of project that you take care of, and we thank you, Dana.
And I'm sure it's ongoing projects. I mean.
Oh, it is. It is. As a matter of fact, as soon as we're finished taping this morning, Dana and I are going to be going back to my office to finish some paperwork on another grant for some community outreach projects.
Okay, but yeah, so what about the history of the incubator? I mean, tell us a little bit about the history, how it began.
Well, the incubator has a history. As a matter of fact, I'm casual today. You two are making me look bad, but I wanted to show the new incubator logo. Cleveland Bradley Business Incubator is kind of a mouthful, so for a lot of years we've just went by our initials, CBBI. Well, we've finally kind of formalized that and brought it into our logo. And it's funny because I don't know if you probably don't remember, but I think you do. Our former director who retired, Don Guerin. Don was actually the one that hired me. He hired me before the doors were even open to the incubator yet. But we already had tenants in-house. The phones hadn't been installed, computer networking, there was none. But I was there at that time. As a matter of fact, when we first got at it, my office was completely empty. We had one little bench that had been a leftover from the college that they let us have, and I was literally sitting on the floor using the phone on the bench because the phones were, like I say, in the process of being installed and they were all having to be programmed. But when I first started, I'd come to work dressed much like you are now, every day. It was a suit and tie, or at least a sports coat and a tie, something like that. And Don Guerin came up to me one day, he said, "Son, you're going to have to lose the tie. You need to loosen up a little bit. You're scaring the tenants." And I'm scaring them. But he had a point. And Don had such vision and foresight into these kind of things because the suit and tie did kind of intimidate people who were a little bit intimidated anyway coming in to see us.
Right.
And that's one thing that we definitely tried to get across to people, that if you've got an idea for a product or service, you can start your own business. People say, "Oh, well, that's too complicated," or "I don't know anything about starting a business." That's what we're here for.
Right.
It probably would be a lot easier than most people would imagine to get a business started. And with just a little bit of information and a little bit of guidance, anybody could start a business. And it may be that if that idea you have for a product or for a service, if it's something that you would use yourself, but it's just not out there to be had, the chances are very good you're not the only one that wants that product or needs that service. So if you can find that little niche that's not getting any attention from anywhere, that's the beginnings of a good business. And all it takes is just getting started.
Well, saying that, what would be one of the ones in the incubator over the years you've been there, since it's been open, that you could say that found a niche, moved into it, and just kind of took off from there?
Definitely. We've had several. I call them Cinderella stories because some of these folks have come to us. Well, I'll give a good example. We've got a lady in the incubator right now that when she came to me, first of all, we were full. We had no place to put her. But at that time, the Small Business Development Center, which is located at Cleveland State, they're just down the hall from the incubator. There was a director there by the name of Rick Platts, a wonderful gentleman, and he had a burning desire, you might say, to help small business. But he brought her to me, and he was like, "H, is there any way that we can find a place to put this girl? She's got a really good idea, and I think she'll do okay." I said, "Well, yeah, we're full. I don't have anywhere to put her." But Rick made a believer out of me, so I talked to another tenant who didn't use his office but on weekends. And so I got him to sort of cohabitate with this lady as she was getting started. So for 3 months, she was in a suite that actually belonged to another business. And in the meantime, I was scrambling, trying to find a place because I knew at the end of those 3 months, she had to either move into her own suite or had to move out. That's how close that it was getting. And we actually found her a suite of her own the day of her departure. So, I mean, she was packing up anyway, but it turns out, fortunately, she got to move into her own suite instead of moving out. But what she does is she is a representative for folks who have been turned down for disability. She's a disability representative, and she helps people get those benefits that they're entitled to, but for one reason or another have been turned down in the initial process. But when she came to me, she was freshly divorced, had 2 small children in tow, and literally, and I know she wouldn't care if I said this, she literally did not have 2 cents to rub together. She had a brand new credit card, and I remember she was proud of it. She pulled it out of her billfold and she showed it to me. Still had the sticker on the front of it. And she said, "I've got $1,500 on this card. I just got it." That's what she started her business with. And she got into it, got to work. It was just her for 6 months into it. By that time, she had enough business that she was able to hire an assistant part-time. And that's just where it got going. I mean, before long, she had a contractor in the incubator building, another tenant, build a $300,000 home for her in a nice neighborhood here in town. She drives a brand new Beamer convertible. Both her kids drive new cars. I mean, she's done very, very well for herself.
She's got, what, 3 or 4 people working now?
Oh, she does. And she was able to have a satellite facility. She opened up, I guess you could call her a chain now, but she has an office in Orlando, Florida as well. And we helped her find a business incubator in Orlando for her to start out in. And she graduated out of that incubator. It's now on its own out in the real world in Orlando and is doing very well. So her business is growing. She's getting calls from all over the United States. Just over the month of December, I know that she was in New York, Chicago, back in Florida again, with clients that have reached out to her thanks to the website and her advertising.
It's really good. I mean, and I'm sure there's probably a lot more of those stories like that.
Oh, I could fill up your whole show with stories of people like that, because they found that little area that nobody was paying any attention to, and there was dollars to be had there. So they build their success on the fact that they found something that the community needs, that people need, that nobody was paying any attention to.
Right. Well, Hurley, we got a couple minutes on this segment. We're going to be back here in a moment. And I've got some more questions. I'm sure you've got some more answers for me.
Fire them at me.
All right, folks, we're going to be back here in a moment. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll come back here. Like I said, I've got some more questions for Hurley, because this is some great stuff. But stay with us, and we'll be back here in just a few moments.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Hello, I'm Bill Odom.
Hi, and I'm Tammy Odom.
We want to invite you to join us on Joyous Living Today for interviews, testimonies, and gospel music by special guests and Dixie Sunshine.
Right here on WTNB, Sundays at 4 p.m. and Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. You don't want to miss it.
Jesus, Jesus, the light of the world.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Visit Tennessee Liquidators and save up to 60% off retail prices. Tennessee Liquidators carries closeout and shelf pulls. All items are brand new. Electronics, everything from big screen TVs to notebooks, new toys, new bicycles, baby merchandise like high chairs, car seats, and strollers, household items like coffee makers, blenders, microwaves, vacuum cleaners, irons, and mini refrigerators. Tennessee Liquidators also carries a selection of furniture, including dinettes and patio furniture. You won't believe all the items to choose from under one roof with such low prices. Clothing starting at $1. Winter coats and boots, health and beauty items, makeup, hair color, shampoos, as well as cleaning supplies and detergents. Tennessee Liquidators, 154 Buchanan Road, 479-3912. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back again, folks. I'm sure you're on your second, third, or perhaps fourth cup of coffee for some of us. We're here with Hurley Buff.
Case,
Yeah, I'll say some of them. I know some people can drink it down. We're here with Hurley Buff and still talk about the incubator. Mm-hmm. We talked about earlier the kind of the history of it, the influence of it, and plus we talked about one of the Cinderella stories. I guess. Graduation, you talk about graduation. I mean, how's it go? I mean, from the incubator start to finish, I mean, kind of give us an overview. Somebody was interested in it.
The graduation program is 4 years. That's the total amount of years that a company is going to be in the incubator. Each year, the rent goes up just a little bit to get you back toward prices in the real world. We don't want it to be a culture shock when you go out and graduate and you're trying to find space to move into. But it's normally not rent, really, per se, that is such a culture shock to folks when they graduate out. It's things like the services, phone service, internet, and fax lines, things like that, that it comes as a shock, really, just how much that those services cost. And of course, we have a lot of negotiating power. Like I said, we can have up to 41 businesses at one time. And for me, sitting negotiating with a phone or an internet company, I represent 41 businesses. So that gives us a lot of negotiating power in getting those services. So we're able to provide those services for our residents very, very cheaply. They're not subsidized. But for an example, internet service, we get 50 meg down, 5 meg up for our tenants, and it's $15 a month. Now, where are you going to find that kind of speed with internet for $15 a month? But that's the kind of power that you have when you're representing a large group of businesses and those services are shared. Same goes for phone lines. We charge $65 a month for a phone line, but we provide the phones. And the phone system is a $30,000 NEC system, which was brand new. There again, we looked for some grant dollars to replace the old system, and so we've got a brand new one now. But those are the kind of things that small business, they can't afford getting started, right. And yet they're so necessary for business these days. I mean, you just about can't say that you're in business anymore if you don't have an internet presence.
Right.
So, yeah, internet's a very important thing. Those are some of the services that we can provide. Now, that's not saying none of the tenants are required to take any of those services. You can come in with your cell phone in hand, set up shop, and go to work. You don't have to have any of those services, but they're available for the tenants. And the price is the same whether that they get it in their first year or their fourth year. You take it at your own pace and you apply those services when that you can afford them. But the graduation scheme of 4 years, we feel like is fair. A lot of incubators only allow 3 years. And we just didn't feel like that was enough time to really get a business up on its feet, stable, cash flowing, and ready to take their place in the community. And that's the ultimate goal. We want to turn out quality businesses that are ready to go and take their spot in downtown or wherever in the county and be a productive, tax-paying employer that is doing their part in the community. And it does no good for us to turn a business out just to watch them fail.
Right.
So during those 4 years, we pack as much education and as much value as we can into the service that we're providing for them. But most of the businesses that come into the incubator, they leave us long before that. They outgrow us. They get started, they start having a need for more space, more employees, more storage. And of course, the spaces that we have, yourself, and I know we have a lot of different spaces, but most of them are on the small-ish side, let's say. And especially if you're running a manufacturing business, and we have several of those in the incubator right now, that space becomes too small very quickly. And unless that you're lucky and there's a graduation right as you need to expand where that you can expand next door or whatnot, then it makes it tough. It makes it tough. So a lot of those businesses, they grow up, as it were, and leave us long before the 4 years expires.
Well, you mentioned a lot of incubators. Now, how many are there? I mean, because there's not as many as we think, or are there?
Well, it's funny because I was just reading an article that was sent to me by the current director of the Small Business Center yesterday that was saying that there were 1,250 business incubators in the United States. Now, those figures I know come from the National Business Incubator Association, which is a national organization that includes incubators who want to be affiliated. Now, not all incubators are affiliated with that association, so those incubators don't make that number count. But a good estimate in North America is about 4,000 incubators. And of course, the United States has the lion's share of those. When we first got started back in 2000, there was roughly 800 in the country at that time. And of course, those numbers have went up because communities have seen the value of having a business incubator in their community. So I imagine that that's a number that's only going to grow. The National Business Incubation Association now offers educational courses and whatnot for directors like myself. As a matter of fact, I'm an NBIA certified director. So with the growth of the number of incubators in the country and the knowledge, I suppose you'd say, of the kind of assistance that they can lend, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming up because You know, I know when I started, I didn't know anything about business incubation. We were just very fortunate here in Cleveland that we had a gentleman who really championed the cause of the incubator and seemed to intuitively know what needed to take place in the incubator, and that was our retired director I was telling you about, Don Guerin. When Don started the incubation program, this was back in 1993, I believe. It came out of the Small Business Committee at the Chamber of Commerce, and like I say, we're fortunate to have a Chamber of Commerce here in Bradley and Cleveland that really work for the small business community. And they have a small business committee. At that time, it was chaired by Mel Bedwell, who, of course, the Mel Bedwell Small Business Person Award is named after. So a big name in Bradley County and Cleveland at that time. Well, he chaired that committee, and Don brought the idea for the business incubator to that committee. And it basically, that idea grew from there. Just a mention by one of the members of that committee, eventually, of course, in 2000, became the business incubator. And they had to raise funds along the way to get things like a feasibility study. That was a big hurdle to jump. But when the feasibility study was done for our area, the numbers actually kind of shocked, I think, even the folks who did the feasibility study, because the numbers were really way up there. And of course, you know, that's proven to be true, because the incubator it opened in mid-2000. By early 2001, it was full, and it's pretty much stayed that way ever since. Now, of course, back December a year ago, we opened the Cleveland Bradley Innovation Center on the far side of the campus. Now, that incubation program is for green businesses. Businesses that have got a green take on perhaps an old industry or something that's brand new technology, alternative energies, different ways to do old things. All of those kind of businesses are welcome at the new center. And it has filled up very, very quickly. As a matter of fact, we could probably at this point in time say it's full, because I have some folks that are planning on taking the remaining space if that actually happens. So if anybody out there is interested, they need to call me quick. But there again, I think that's just going to be a continuation of the same kind of response that we've seen at the main incubator. There's a thriving entrepreneurial spirit in Cleveland and Bradley County.
Yes.
And a lot of people with a lot of great ideas, a lot of people who want to work for themselves, who want to be able to make their own schedule, and we're trying to provide a way for them to be able to do that.
And I think there's also, too, you say that, but I also think there's a lot of businesses, a lot of people here that are supportive of those type of people.
Yes,
because I've noticed that Cleveland, Bradley County, Cleveland, there's just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we've had different guests on here. I've seen, other guests on other shows. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of giving, a lot of support of things that you don't see elsewhere. Mm-hmm. That this town, as small as, I say small, but compared to larger cities, but it's got a lot. It's got a lot of heart here. There's a lot of helping hands that are out there, and I think that's why the incubator not only is important, but is as successful as it can be.
Oh, I completely agree.
Because there's a lot of, plus graduates graduating, understanding it, supporting it, coming back and everything. So I think that's a big plus.
There is a lot of community spirit. I wasn't born and raised in Cleveland, but I've adopted Cleveland as my home.
Nobody is.
I wouldn't go back, because the people here do make a difference, and there is a lot of community spirit. And I know myself, when shopping for Christmas, I would rather spend my dollar with a business here locally than to go to the major chains and to places where I know that money is leaving the area. And I think a lot of people feel that way here. There's a lot of patriotism and a lot of community spirit here in Cleveland, and they've certainly supported us. Right. We have a lot of people who come to the incubator specifically because they want to spend their hard-earned dollar here in Cleveland, where it's going to do a budding entrepreneur good rather than lining Walmart's pockets, Right. So there's a lot of that goes on.
And like you mentioned earlier, the networking within the incubator. I mean, just since we've been there, we've networked, with several different businesses. you start finding out the services that's offered there, and it becomes something that, not while you're still there, but I'm sure after you leave there, you graduate, grow out, there's still that network in there that you think, you know what, I remember so-and-so back there. I know they can do this. It's a relationship.
Well, and that
builds.
broadens as
Right.
those people graduate out. I mean, right now we have a pretty good network going on. I know you know, and I'm sure you've heard me say this too, Dana, that the incubator is more like a big apartment house than it is a business complex, because you're going to get to know your neighbors. And those neighbors are going to be people who lend advice, who lend a hand, and like you say, people that you're going to remember when you graduate out and you're out in the community. And even when they're talking to their new contacts that they're making out in the real world, wherever that they've settled, then they're going to, well, you know, I remember a guy at the incubator, he could take care of this for you. Right. And that's the kind of thing that we can go to a lot of trouble to encourage. I like to try to treat the incubator bunch as a family. I know that's the way it feels to me. And you know, we encourage the interaction and the exchange between the incubator tenants. And there's a lot of barter goes on up and down the halls. Right. Barter is still alive and well.
I know that.
Well,
I've got a nice table in my bay from bartering.
Well, there you go. And I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because small business, let's face it, there's not that many champions for small business in the world, so we have to be our own champions. And by helping each other out, that's exactly what we're doing.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it was one of our graduates come up with our new logo. A very talented gentleman by the name of Kirk Bates, who was in the incubator quite some years ago, and he has come back not only to help out the incubator with things like our logo and whatnot, but he's giving classes at the incubator for the benefit of the tenants that are in there now, telling them how to improve their internet presence that we talked about earlier,
right.
And you know how to help market their business. And that's a good example of the kind of things that I'm talking about. Our graduates all want to give back. And almost across the board, our graduates want to give back. So they're always available to either help out the incubator or to help out tenants in the incubator. And they find some very creative ways to do it. Yeah. And, there again, that's something that we encourage. I always let a tenant know as they're about to graduate out, one day you may get a call, Hurley will need a favor. And they're always right there for me. Right. I mean, unfailingly, they have come back to serve whatever need was present at the time.
That's good. Well, Hurley, we are out of time. I do appreciate you.
Well, I can't imagine that. I've barely said anything.
I barely say anything either. That's how I like it, though. When the guests come on in, they get their minutes, and that's how I enjoy that.
We enjoy doing it, James.
But I enjoy having you on here today, and I do appreciate you, Hurley, being here, and Dana also taking your time out of your schedule to be here. And we have to have you guys back. I mean, we do. We have to. I mean, you've got a lot of information. Dana, you've got a lot of information. We have to have you back. Folks, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll come back here after that, and we'll wrap this up, and see you later.
Visit Tennessee Liquidators and save up to 60% off retail prices. Tennessee Liquidators carries closeout and shelf pulls. All items are brand new. Electronics, everything from big screen TVs to notebooks, new toys, new bicycles, baby merchandise like high chairs, car seats, and strollers, household items like coffee makers, blenders, microwaves, vacuum cleaners, irons, and mini refrigerators. Tennessee Liquidators also carries a selection of furniture, including dinettes and patio furniture. You won't believe all the items to choose from under one roof with such low prices. Clothing starting at $1. Winter coats and boots, health and beauty items, makeup, hair color, shampoos, as well as cleaning supplies and detergents. Tennessee Liquidators, 154 Buchanan Road, 479-3912. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Logan Thompson, attorneys at law, have built a firm offering quality legal services to the people and businesses of Southeast Tennessee. We have achieved expertise in all areas of law in order to represent our clients in a manner they need, deserve, and have come to expect. Logan Thompson, with 9 attorneys and an extensive and competent support staff, is available to provide representation in various legal areas, including family law, Social Security benefits, personal injury, criminal defense, workmen's compensation, as well as business and complex litigation matters. At Logan Thompson, we have been building a tradition of legal services for over 40 years. We have developed the finest legal services and are proficient in providing you with representation you can trust. Give us a call at 423-476-2251 to schedule your free consultation.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Well, good morning, folks. This is the end of the show where James lets me come back in. He kind of kicked me out today.
No,
Typical.
I didn't kick you out. I mean, we had technical difficulties. So we had to
yes.
kind of move people around and everything. And I would have let you host.
I know you would have.
I would let you stay here and talk. You could do a good job of talking.
Don't start on it.
No, folks, we have a few moments left. We just want to wrap it up. We do want to thank Hurley and also Dana for being here this morning with us. Like I said before, throughout the show, that there's some great information there. There's some Hurley is a very supportive person of small businesses.
Absolutely.
And that's not small business, but just the community. I mean,
right.
He's always in the know and what's going on and everything, and he's a great resource to go to. I mean, he really is.
He's very knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable. And like I said, he's been there, since it's opened at the incubator. So he's seen, you figure there's 30 to 40 businesses in there at one point in time. So, 13 years times 40, that's a lot. It's a lot of business to see, and I'm sure.
Right, because he was talking about some of them aren't even there the full year, 4 years, so they're turning over. So
right,
that's that many more.
So we go and talk to them. We're located in the incubator, Suite 154, also 108.
Right, we just expanded into 154.
In 154, we run out of space. And we've gone to Hurley, sat and talked to him, and he's always willing to talk. He may not always have the time to talk,
right,
but he's always willing to talk, and he's got some great advice. He's got some great tips and everything. So we enjoy that part of him, and that's part of the incubator part. But like he was saying, the networking with the other tenants. The other tenants that's been there longer than we have, and in business longer than we have some good advice sometimes, and say, this is what we did to get around that, or do this or do that to get that going or this going. So the incubator is an important part of the community, and the community needs to know about it. And I think that's why we try to have guests from the incubator, the different businesses, different services.
Yeah, because driving by, people don't realize what's in there.
You don't see that. You don't know the service, that there's 35, 40 businesses in there, and what they're doing. I mean, like you said, it's from one end to the other. I mean, there's one spectrum of this doing this, like Dana, local strategies, grant writing, grant research, project development. I mean, that's part of it. Then our part of it, we do, our part, we do graphic design, websites, video production, banners and signs. Some of the different jobs I was thinking we finished. This past 2 or 3 weeks. Cookbooks. Calendars. Just everything. I mean, just everything like that. Yeah. And just everything. I mean, and so the incubator is an important part of the community, and we've got to look at that, and that's why we kind of pinpoint it sometimes. Not only because we're in there, but also because we see the importance.
We get excited about when we see a new tenant come in, we're excited to get to meet them. We pass people in the hallway.
And because it's surprising me, as we've been in there, just the different ones we've been learning about that we didn't know it was still in there and what they did. Or at the Christmas party, we got to see and meet and greet several people, and that we hadn't really had the chance to talk to.
Right.
And just the stuff they do is amazing. The folks here at the Innovation Center, some of the stuff they do.
Right.
You got Kim Curran. She does the glass works and the different stuff.
The recycled, really cool stuff.
Right, and it's just stuff like that. It's neat. The Christmas ornaments. That was given out.
Yes, that we got as a gift this year.
And those were very nice. And it's just stuff like that that you don't realize it's in there.
Right.
And and it's open. People can walk in there. A lot of times, basically 9 to 5. I would say Monday through Friday would be the best time. Just walk through it, kind of look through the directory.
There's the directory out there. I was reading
through
the directory the other day.
Go cbbi.net. Go to the website. Look at it. You see the different list of services, the people that's on there, and you'll find out that a new business is hungry for business. They're wanting to get to the community, get the work.
Right.
And they're wanting to keep it in the work, so they strive harder. Service. I mean, that's some of the most important stuff that you'll find there is the friendliness, the service that people are offering, but just to go out of their way for it a lot of times to do that. I mean, you sometimes miss that in your larger corporations. I'm not saying that it's not there, but sometimes you get lost in the millions of clients that, you're just not important. But that's how it is, and so that's why we continue to have guests on from the incubator, because it is an important part of the community. Whether or not the community knows it, hopefully this is kind of an outreach to say, hey, you know what, the incubator's there, there's businesses there, check them out, call them, stop by, see it, go to the websites, and just see what there is for you to look at. Grant writing was one of the big important parts that I want to have on it, because I know Dana works hard with the nonprofits and the government entities to help them out. The grant money is an important part of a nonprofit. Folks, we're out of time. We do appreciate you listening to us, watching us today, and we'll see you again next Friday.